What's up, guys? We're Jones Subwoofer Solutions again. This week for the amp dyno, it's the Skar RP-4500. So this is the Chinese 4500 from Skar. So this is a big boy amp, but it is Chinese. We'll see what this does today. In the manual it says this should do 1600 watts at 4 ohms, 2900 watts at 2 ohms, and 4500 watts at 1 ohm. So we already did the Korean version from Skar, and it actually performed really well. So now we'll give the less expensive Chinese model RP-4500, we'll give this a check. So drop your guesses now. Catch you over on the dyno, we'll see what this thing does. Alright guys, here we are on the dyno bench with the Skar RP-4500. We're going to run through this like we usually do. We're going to do certified, which is up to 1% distortion. This is how most amplifiers should be rated. The manufacturer's rating should be similar to the certified rating. Then we'll go into uncertified runs, which is into clipping, into distortion. The dyno will just keep reading no matter what the amp puts out, whether it's clipping or not. And then dynamic power is a burst track. It does a 40 hertz pulse or burst tone. So we're going to do certified, then uncertified, and then dynamic. We're going to do 4 ohm, then 2 ohm, and then 1 ohm. This being a Chinese amp, I'm not going to go down under 1 ohm. So we'll do the 1 ohm test and that'll be it. But let's get right into it. We're going to get started. I don't know if you guys seen that, but I am getting an occasional little flicker of the distortion light. I don't know why. But we'll get started. We'll see what this does. It was rated 1600 watts at 4 ohms. We're at 15.1 volts starting. A little high, I know, but we'll settle down into 14s as we run. So 1600 watts. Let's see what this has. All right, we got rated out of it. We got 1,761 watts into 4 ohms. It dropped to 14.9 volts. So not too shabby. It is hitting rated. We'll continue now to 2 ohms. It says it's rated 2,900 watts at 2 ohms. Right about 15 volts. And let's see what it has. Rated 2,900 watts. Got 3,519 watts into 2 ohms, dropping to 14.7 volts. So pretty good. Pretty good. I've heard that the RP series does not perform as good as the SK series, the Korean series, but this is looking pretty good. So we'll go into 1 ohm. Rated 4,500 watts. We're at 15 volts starting. Here we go. Let's see if we get 4,500 watts. Oh yeah. We got 5,471 watts into 1 ohm. We dropped to 14.4 volts. So that is a perfect factory rating there. 5,471, 1,000 watts over. So we'll continue on. We'll go into uncertified. We will see what this does when there's a little bit of clipping or distortion present. The amp won't stop reading on these runs. It runs until I stop the track. Again, this it'll come and it'll go, and it's not on my signal side. It's something on the amp. I don't know what it is. All right, uncertified 4 ohms. rated 1600 watts. We know it'll meet that. Let's see what it does though. Starting at 15 volts. Alright, I let it go a little bit. We got 1,822 watts into 4 ohms, dropping to 14.8 volts. I'm going to continue. I'm going to go to 2 ohms. It's rated 2,900 watts. Let's see what it does. Again, we're starting at 15 volts. We're just floating on my CMAX, no chargers or nothing. It'll hold 15 pretty good. And we got 3,503 watts at 2 ohms. So not bad at all. 1 ohm uncertified. We're at 14.9 volts now. CMAX has came down a little bit. Let's see how much more than 4,500 watts we get. Again, the Skar RP-4500. I stopped that. I probably could have kept going. 5,751 watts into 1 ohm, dropping to 14.28 volts. So, man, any of the smack I've heard about this amp, I don't know if I believe it anymore. We're going to exit uncertified, and we're going to go into our pulse tracks, the dynamic run. Like I said, we're just going to continue along 4 ohms. Here we go. Rated 1,600 watts. And it gives us 2,088 watts into 4 ohms. We dropped to 14.8 volts. So above rated in all its testing so far. We're going to do a 2 ohm burst now, rated 2,900 watts. I'd say that's a bit more than 2,900 watts. That's 3,646 watts into 2 ohms, dropped to 14.62 volts. And lastly, we're going to do our 1 ohm run. We're at 14.97 volts starting. Let's see what it does. Call that good. 6,443 watts into 1 ohm at 14.42 volts. So that is actually very impressive performance out of this Skar RP-4500. I'm going to go ahead and shut things down. We can take a look inside the amp, and I'll put up the performance summary for you guys. Catch you back on the bench in a second. Alright guys, we're back on the bench. We've got the back of the amp off. You guys might catch something that I've just seen for the first time going through these. So the truth is, it's not a bad looking amp. It's laid out pretty clean. It looks similar to some of the other big amps I've seen, but I'm sure most of you guys have caught it by now. But if you look there, we have a bad cap. It's clearly leaking. There's some tacky residue on top of those coils.
inductors. I'm not sure why. Those could have just been labeled with something that got peeled off. But we definitely have a leaking cap. So that could have been the source of that ghost noise we were getting. I'm almost certain it is. Some grease on those cables too. I don't know if you can see that. That might be junk from a bad cap, or who knows. But we saw that it performed. Enough rambling, I suppose. Saw that it performed. Maybe this is a fluke and it just has a bad cap in there. You know, I honestly don't know what to think. I think I might myself, I'm a dealer for Skar, try to get this one returned and immediately inspect whatever shows up and go from there. And maybe I'll just shoot a short video showing you guys the inside of a different one. Then we can say if this is a fluke or not. But, I mean, let's say performance-wise, this thing met its rated power. Did everything and more that it was expected to. It actually surprised me. I've heard a lot of smack talk on these. So I was impressed myself by the performance. Less impressed by the cosmetic look of things in there. A little dirty and stuff. But like I said, we'll find out more about that later. We'll move on. And this is pretty heavy. This is a pretty beefy heatsink. So on this side, you have non-Tiffany style RCAs. You've got inputs and outputs. Power and protect light. You have your gain knob, subsonic filter, your bass boost, your low pass filter goes from 35 to 250 hertz. And your phase is 0 to 180. They're strappable. You can set master or slave, and there is your strappable RCA. And then you can see this is a pretty beefy heatsink. There is no fins on top though. We'll take a look at this other side. And I used 2/0 welding cable. I always recommend you use the largest cable you can fit. The 2/0 welding was a very tight fit, so like always, your sky high, your oversized audio stuff, you might need to stick with 1/0, but I did use 2/0 welding cable. The remote, of course, is oversized. It's probably an 8 gauge terminal there, as well as the speaker terminals. You do get 2 pairs of speaker terminals. So that is what I have today for the Skar 4500. Let me not forget, you do get the China bass knob with the power indicator and the rather small knob. I really like the ones with a little bit bigger of a knob. And this one, it was different too. It came with a 300 amp fuse. Haven't seen that before. Phone cord style cable for your bass knob. It did come with a toolkit and your instruction manual. So that is everything I have on the Skar Audio RP-4500. Like I said, I'm gonna grab another one. We'll open it and take a look. I'll probably post maybe a 2 or 3 minute video in a few days here of me checking out the guts of a different RP-4500. But overall, I'm impressed. For the minute, I think I'm gonna call it fluky, having a bad cap in there. I don't think that's going to be very common. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of the channel. Any suggestions for the channel. I want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you. If you guys haven't subscribed, please do me big. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you know when we post a new video. Again, thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Alright guys, so this is a new RP-4500. It does look quite a bit cleaner, I would say, than the last one. We still have a little bit of funk on top of those, but overall the amp is much cleaner than the other one. Same layout, same organization, but less goop on these inductors. Just a little cleaner all around, and of course we don't have a bad cap either. So just wanted to show you guys what you should expect if you get one of these. I'm going to chalk up the condition of the last one to a fluke. Like I said, we are a Skar dealer, so I'll get it warranted and replaced, and everything will be good. So I just wanted to throw that in there for you guys. Appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.